Axonot team, Isha, we have a group of young budding kids all around us. Uh, you know, they are interns, come from very good colleges all across India. Some in the field of sales and marketing, some in the field of HR, business engagement, business development, and I thought, as a process, what we do, we take our interns and make them hear out the CXOs who has grown from scratch to the top, and through these discussions, we want them to learn from people like you. What are the differences you made during your career up and down over the last 20 years? What are the best practices they can adopt and learn from you? And of course, this will be open for various question and answers. They could ask you, and in a routine life situation, and hear from you the various answers you will give for to helping them to succeed in their routine journey of corporate life.
Sure.
I see you are in office.
No, it's just a virtual Zoom background. I'm having some fun with work.
Oh, that's really great. Fun at work is absolutely, that's the buzzword.
Yeah, so why have it the boring walls in the background all the time? I just keep changing my backgrounds.
Okay. So, without wasting time, I will hand over to you guys. I have briefed you the background of Misha. I will talk not much. Only thing, she is now a very big lady in corporate world. She handles the professional service division of VMware as a senior director, manages a huge team, a big revenue, and let's hear from her. Misha, how would you like to conduct this? We would like to hear from you.
Sure.
And your journey, your successes, and thereafter maybe I will try to moderate a few question answers and then open the forum for them to ask you questions.
Sure. Thanks, Debashish. I'm really happy to join this session. In the middle of all this COVID-19 and super busy work that was going on, when you came to me with this request, I was like, okay, this is something really refreshing, and I'd love to do it. So the way I've structured this is I'll take about 20 odd minutes to walk the team through my journey so far. So I'd like to share my screen, but what I'll do is about 20 minutes, I'll walk you people through my journey so far and also walk you through some learnings. And then probably rest of the time will be open for discussion. You can ask me anything.
That was really, really insightful journey. Fantastic hearing you after such a long time.
Thank you.
So clearly what I could sense from you is you are creating your small independent differentiators and moving forward. You are really having fun at work. It's so important to have fun at work. You need to enjoy what you do, cut back on your emotions, cut back on your, if anything disturbs you, but move forward in life. Amazing thoughts. Questions, guys?
So, good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm Radhika. I'm working in the business development department with AceLot. Ma'am, I would like you to discuss the challenges you face being a salesperson and how do you overcome it?
Oh my God, there are so many. Okay, hi Radhika. Okay, so one of the biggest challenges that you will see when you're doing sales is how do you convince a customer to buy?
Yes, ma'am.
Especially if it's an Indian customer and they have very little money in their pocket.
Exactly.
I think one strategy that has always worked is empathize with the customer. listen to them. I think listening skills are something that all of us wish to have. We think we have, but when you actually start listening, you'll realize how little of it you have. And so I still always think that I speak too much and listen less. But if you listen to the customer, understand their problem, and be able to configure your response as a solution to their problem, that is something that definitely helps, right? The other thing is, how do you get paid for the correct price of what you want to sell them? Because there'll always be budget constraints. Now, last 2-3 years, you've had GST, you've had demonetization, you now have COVID-19 that has added to the woes of customers. And so they will always be, budgets are only going to reduce year on year. They are not going to increase. And I think it is important to respect that. If you come across as somebody who's able to articulate the customer's problem before they articulate it to you, they'll at least understand that you have empathized with that problem, that you understand it, and that you've configured your solution based on that. Right? It's not like he has 20 rupees in his pocket, I'm not going to take all 20 of it. He needs to have some money left to do something else as well. But in every situation, I've observed that if you have understood their problem, then they will find a way to find the money. So building business cases is the next thing that you will see, right? So in the top 3 challenges. So we are under this myth that we think we can build a business case for a customer. We can't. They have to build a business case on their own. You can only help them in that journey. So I think it's important to also acknowledge what you cannot do. Does that help, Radhika?
Thank you, ma'am.
Is that correct,
Ma'am.
Debashish?
Yeah, please. Right.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, on the similar lines like Radhika asked, like you mentioned during your presentation as well, that Indian consumers want everything for free. Now, this is something which we encounter on a daily basis working in the business development team. This is something because since we are supposed to get in touch with different colleges, and again, like you mentioned, they don't want to pay. They want everything for free. How did you actually get around this mentality? Because again, it's very tough, and Indian customers can be very stubborn as well, especially with this approach they have.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. They don't want to spend money because they can't figure out where to get it from. It's not like people don't have money. If they didn't have money, they wouldn't be running that business. So, you need to develop the skill of asking the right questions, sometimes open-ended, sometimes close-ended, and try and understand where the money is going to come from first. Who is the budget owner? Who's the decision maker? Is the buying center a combination of people? Or is it one individual who's going to, like in India, you have this thing of family run companies, right? It's that one Lalaji who's going to make the decision sometimes. Then you need to go and talk to the Lalaji, right? It's wasting your time with the accountant is not going to help you. So I think it's about being smart and identifying where is the money going to come from. And then what are the things in that person's or that unit's mind that are needed to be able to go get that money. And I think it also helps to be clear, right? So whichever organization you're representing, or whether it's your own organization, you need to be clear whether you're doing a particular deal for earning money out of it, or are you doing this deal to get a customer reference. You may make some conscious business decisions based on what is the goal that you want to achieve. And so then base it on that.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very helpful.
Sure.
Any questions, guys, from marketing, HR?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Shazmeen here.
Yeah, Shazbeen, I've
Sorry.
heard you first. There's somebody else also trying to speak. We'll come to you next.
Yeah. So I belong to the HR team at Aslot. My question is that in the corporate world, things change at a really fast pace, and learning additional skills is a must or rather now it's become a mandate. How do you still differentiate yourself? Because if I am doing it, I see even other 10 people doing it with me.
Yeah, this is a very difficult question, Shazni. But yes, you are right. I think there's a lot of information overload in the world right now. So you learn two things, you realize there's somebody else with a third. You do the third, you'll realize there's somebody else with a fourth. The way I take it is compare with yourself, right? So firstly, what does your role require? Everyone has a job description of the role. What does it require? What are the basic parameters on which you will be judged, so that you secure your base first, that this is my job, I'm supposed to do my job, and I'm fine, I'm really good at it. Then you go to the next, is to the differentiator skill. Now typically you will differentiate not based on number of skills, but based on how you do your job. I have always believed that your job description is as good as how you perform on it. So, for example, somebody gave me a job description when I started my role, and I thought, yeah, that's good theory. But when I get along the journey, I think I can do this, this, and this also in my job description. So I enhance my own job description. So it's about how well you do something and how self-confident and self-aware you are. Right? If you know your weaknesses, then you know that this is the place I don't want to go. These are my strengths and I'll play on those, right? So be really good at something rather than trying to be in the rat race of getting all the skills in your kitty.
Thank you.
So one thing, Misha has said to everyone is you need to be self-aware. You need to be aware of your strengths, especially what are your weaknesses. If I ask each one of you separately, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? You will tell 10 strengths, but you will fumble to tell 2 to 3 of your weaknesses. Whereas in actual world, it's the other way around. So as and when you yourself know what your weaknesses are, without someone pointing at you and telling you that word is called self-aware. The person who is self-aware always creates his or her differentiation in any field, wherever he goes. Don't take too many things. If you are self-aware, as Misha is saying, take 2 to 3 things which creates your differentiation. But first, be self-aware.
Like, I'll give you one example. Let's not keep it to theory, right? One of my weaknesses is that my brain works too much. I get too many ideas in my mind at one point in time. And then I have no path to execute them. And so what happens is I clutter my brain and I may not be able to focus on what is at hand. But the strength that I picked out of this, sometimes this can be a strength also, right? Because idea generation is also something that's needed, is that if I can pick up 1 or 2 ideas from that, I'm really strong at execution. So I can create a team, I can put a plan together and make sure I'll drive with it, right? So then I try and put all those ideas aside and pick up those 1 or 2 and drive them to some really strong execution. Okay, there's one more lady who was trying to speak up.
Tanvi, we can't hear you. You are in mute and talking.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm Preeta. I'm from the HR team. Am I audible?
Yes, Preeta, go ahead.
Ma'am, your journey was very inspiring for us. But as soon as I heard that you moved from the IT team to the sales team, the first thing that struck my mind was the workplace politics that you would have encountered at that time. Because there would have been a lot of jealousy involved, and not all the time can you easily ignore all of it. So how did you handle that?
Okay, politics is everywhere. It's got nothing to do with IT or sales or anything else, right? And the level of politics only increases as you go further in your journey. As you go towards the higher ladders of the organization, it increases. That's the fact of life, and so you can't ignore it as much as you may want to. This is one of my weaknesses. I'm a very non-political person. I can only drive to excellence. And so I used a very simple trick for this. I went and asked my father that, this is my weakness and I don't know how to deal with it. And his advice to me was, uh, just pick up your strengths and play to those. Be so strong at your job that you have done it so right that nobody can come back at you with it. If you don't want to get into the political game, right? And I think it's worked very well for me. It may or may not work for everyone, but it worked for me. But the other strategy that I would advise if somebody asked me is keep emotion out of it. Play to your strength, find a strategy, remember your goal, and just work towards that. If you get your emotion or your ego in between this, politics will eat you alive.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Thanks, Preeta. I like these questions. They're really smart.
Hello, ma'am. This is Akanksha. Actually, I have a question regarding as per career prospects. I have done my master's in psychology and I've graduated this year itself. I am working as an HR intern in ASLOT. I aspire to go towards performance appraisal or talent management or learning and development. And I'm still trying to upscale myself and get more skills in it. But could you please suggest me more skills in which I can upscale myself and may take my career that side in a better way, since I have not done MBA yet.
Okay. You haven't done MBA, but you've done your master's in psychology. Is that what you said, Akanksha?
Yes, ma'am.
I think you should teach us a thing or two. I would say, Akanksha, that you, I mean, of course, it's a one-to-one advice, but if you'd like, try and pay some attention to your role first, and you will automatically realize in some time what is the skill that you want to pick up. An MBA is not necessary to be able to run a business, and I think I'm a good example of it.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I thought to ask you.
Yeah. But what I have done in my journey is I have picked up small modules. So I keep going to people like Debashish and I have a very good relationship with all my ex-bosses. So I'll go and always ask, right, try to find a mentor for yourself. And I'll ask that, my strengths and areas of development. What should I pick up? And at one point in time, I just pick up one additional thing. So you can either learn on the job or you can pick up a course to do. But try not to clutter your life with too many things at one time. That would be my advice.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. So all of you are doing your internship remotely, is it?
Yes, all of them are online and they are driving their KPIs. So, Misha, what I have done is at a KPI level, they are driving KPIs. And secondly, I am working personally with them on developing their potential. If you remember, applied thinking, drive, engage, change.
Yes.
The four parameters of one growth in corporate life. No one can change that. So I've given them some personal projects, each one of them, trying to engage them and give them personal inputs on, how to develop on their potential. The day one, I said that you need to communicate with impact. You need to be customer obsessed, you need to be innovation hungry, and you need to create your top 3 differentiators. So I personally am working out in those areas. I have not been able to give so much of time, whatever through email, WhatsApp, but I've given them a project. Let me see. Some of them have submitted the project. I've given feedback. Some of them I'm yet to get. But I'm sure by the time this internship ends, and if they listen, the problem again comes as self-aware. मैं तो जानता हूँ सब कुछ, मुझे क्यों ज्ञान दे रहा है? So if they listen to that, then they should be perfect when they move out.
So I think one thing that I'd like to tell everyone, you are in very good hands. The whole Acelot team is a team of people who will bring to you that depth of exposure that they have been through. I think more you soak in like a sponge, the more you will benefit from it. So give it the maximum possible. Ask a lot of questions. No question is dumb. That's the only way you'll get more information. Otherwise, you can wait to spend 20 years in your experience and learn through it. You've got the experts in front of you.
Thank you so much. Questions,
Okay, who
please,
else?
friends? Anything else?
Ma'am, one more question I have. Ma'am, again, how did you deal with the negative emotion that comes when we are not able to meet up with our targets? Because again, working in sales, that is a common thing that we are given a target, and sometimes we are not able to meet that.
If you want to be successful in sales, rule number one is forget that emotion exists in the world. Just you see, here's the thing. You will win some, you will lose some. You have to look at the longer part of the journey, right? You have to see how many deals you will bring in through the year. You see, I have not achieved my number this time, but what can I do better so that I can achieve it next time, right? Where can I look? And if my existing customers are not purchasing, can I go and find new markets? Can I create new types of customers? Can I just change my product or my proposition or my solution? So you have to think differently. You are going to lose deals. Every deal does not happen on this earth. So having that emotion is okay, but don't let it come in your way, because then you're going to continue to fail. I'll be honest, I've learned this the hard way. It's not like I was always totally emotionless with respect to how work is happening. But yeah, you can try. At least you are conscious at this stage of your career that that is something that may come in my way. So that's a great start.
Yeah, ma'am, that was very much insightful.
And then it's also trial and error, right? Each deal you do, you will learn something out of it. Don't forget to pick up the learnings, right? You don't always just celebrate, open a bottle of champagne, have your beer and say, "Arey, ye deal ho gaya, chalo, mera commission ho gaya," move on. Learn from that, pick up from that. One very good thing I've learned in the past 3-4 years is it's not just, you don't just pick up areas of improvement and keep improving on that. That is not just learning. Learning is also, what did I do very well? Okay, I did this very well. That means this must be a strength of mine. And how can I play on it for the future? That is also learning. Thanks, Sukrit.
Any other questions you guys have?
Anyone has worked anywhere before?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Where have you worked, Sukrit?
Ma'am, I was a management trainee with Marriott. So I worked in the food and beverage
Wow.
service department.
Wow. Would you like to share a couple of learnings with the rest of the team as to what did you pick up from there in your experience?
Ma'am, first, I
Sorry,
think,
Devashish, I'm hijacking, but
ma'am, again, since I started so it was basically a two-stage program. So we was supposed to start from the bottom because we were supposed to become the manager in 1.5 years of time. Generally, for a person who is starting from the bottom rung in the hotel industry, it takes them at least 4 to 5 years to do so. But we were expected to become a professional manager in about 1.5 years. So again, the program was very rigorous and we had to start from the bottom. So again, the one thing which I picked up was that you must have a thick skin. You can't, again, like you mentioned as well, that emotion should not affect you, should not come in your way. This is also something which I picked up from the hotel industry because again, in the hotel I worked, the working environment was not very much positive. We were severely understaffed at that property.
yeah,
So
that's
for a
something you'll see. Yeah, you'll observe, across industries that it's very different sentiment everywhere. The service industry, hotels, hospitality, even telecom for that matter is a service industry. Here is where you get to deal with people, and people are not always going to be very nice to you,
ma'am,
but you have to be nice to them.
in fact, I would like to add to this is that in the hotel industry, especially in Marriott, the perception of management trainees, especially amongst the people, especially amongst the other staff, is not that good because again they envy us basically. They are jealous of us because that is what something I have felt because they think that this guy is going to become a manager in 1.5 year. For me, it is going to take me 5-6 years of my life after I work my arse off. That is so again that is something which works against us. So if there is a situation in which there is an altercation and we are one of the parties, we are always at a disadvantage. And in my hotel, it became even more harder for me because my predecessors didn't had a very good rapport with the team. One of them left in 1 month. The other one was very much irresponsible. So he was even
So
so.
this can happen to anyone, right? Once you get out of your internship and you actually get into your roles, you may experience this anywhere. And there's also the element of unconscious bias. There are people who will say, hey, this person is just new, so abhi to aise kuch nahi aata. You have a long way to learn and things like that. And I have a team of some 123 people in the country.
Mm,
And when I speak to some of those who've joined recently, joined us as interns or as freshers, they always tell me that when our managers talk to us, sometimes we feel that they treat us with lesser experience, that we have lesser experience. Now the fact is that yes, you do come in with a little lesser experience, but the fact is also that you are humble and willing to learn, right? So I think the way to counter this is at your level to be humble and to honestly show that, hey, I'm here to learn, and I'm really good at something, and when you place your bet on me, you will not repent it. So that's the way I would suggest that people play that around. Okay, anyone else?
Hi, this is Hemachandar. Hi, I don't know whether it is relevant question or not, but I have one general question. I'm in freelancer, so I'm in working with Esselot as a business developer associate to increase my business skills. In last 3-4 years, I've been working on technical, particularly electronics. So my question is like whether the freelance work is good or not, or your companies, not big companies, they don't rely on freelancers. For startups, of course, they rely on at least up to some extent. Whether I want to know what is your opinion on freelancers because you are in
I think India has evolved in terms of how people are seen. So if you say around 15-20 years ago, somebody who's not a full-time employee was viewed as, oh, this person is a just a freelancer or on contract or whatever. But I think with the ways of working having changed, with having dispersed workforces, now COVID-19 has taught us a lot of things in life. I don't think it is viewed like that anymore. Yes, you are right. Some of the larger organizations may not uh, engage with individual freelancers as some of the smaller organizations may do, but it depends on what's your goal in your life. Like if you want to make uh, money by reduced taxation, you can do it as a freelancer. As an employee of a company, you have certain constraints around how your in-hand salary actually gets taxed, and there are other considerations. As a freelancer, you are bound by your own rules. So depends actually what you want to do and what will work out best for you. Also, large organizations don't engage with freelancers is also I think a myth to some extent, because companies like Airtel actually go ahead and deal with a lot of startups and independent consultants. So depends where you find your niche and what you enjoy doing. If you think you're happy, you're getting the money that you need, and that your career goals are being satisfied, there is nothing wrong in being a freelancer. So it's nothing is better than the other. It depends on what suits you.
Thank you. That's good.
Anyone else? Questions? You have any suggestions for me or for anyone else?
Hi,
Oh,
ma'am.
he
Vimal
wants.
this side.
Hi,
I have a
Vimal.
question. Actually, the thing is, achieving the targets of sales is not very easy task every time. So there must be some kind of a motivation that should be there to excel you towards the end that you wanted to get it. So what was your motivation?
Oh man, this is a very difficult question. Okay. Uh, my motivation is always in sales, one of the best things is that you get instant gratification for your work. You don't have to wait for something to go live. You don't have to wait for somebody to submit a survey. Your success is in winning a deal. And my motivation is every time I win a deal, that motivates me to go win the next one. So every win is a motivation for me. And then you have motivational factors like Devashish Sen, who do a very good job of creating motivation for people. So you need a good boss also. You're speaking on mute, boss.
Oh. I am saying they have not seen this, so they do not know much of me.
You should show them our
How should I do?
Mission
Tell me,
750 video.
huh?
You
Mission
should show them that
750.
750 video.
Okay, it's there in YouTube.
Yes, it's
Okay,
publicly available. Why not?
yeah. So, but how will they relate to that? I have to tell them that story then.
You're very good at storytelling also.
Okay, I will do that I'm noting it down. I'll send the link to everyone. And
Okay, guys.
we achieved it.
Yeah. Motivation is also about cheering each other up, right? So it's not just your boss and you yourself and your deal. It's also about how everybody in the team makes sure that you keep the momentum going, right? Your motivation in sales is going to come from everybody uh, winning their deals and creating a competitive spirit around it. So when you see, this guy has already done his number, mine is still lacking behind, that will be enough motivation for you to move forward. So there's a whole bunch of different things, right? So of course I have a habit of comparing with myself and looking at my own deals, so I won't do so much competition. But if somebody goes beyond me, I will be worried about it. Okay, guys, we have 5 more minutes. We can take maybe one more question and then summarize and close. Or anyone wants to volunteer to call out key takeaways that you may have from the session?
See, two learnings from here for all of you. What did she say? We have 5 more minutes for closure. The meeting was from 4 to 5. So that means she is maintaining timeline and deadline. Very important for you to be successful. You need to maintain your timeline and deadline. The second thing what she said is anyone can summarize and close. For any deal, whether you are in sales, marketing, finance, HR, for any discussion should close with a point-to-point summary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is my summary and this is my closing statement. Two key learnings through these two lines. Take it.
Okay, if that's all, then once again, thank you everyone for this opportunity. Through your extremely challenging questions, even I have learned a bunch of things. And just one last thing, some of you sent me LinkedIn invites and some of you may. When you send me an invite, please include a message in that, because I typically don't accept an invite from someone I don't know. So if the background to it, then I will go ahead and accept it. So happy to remain connected.
Thank you so much, Misha. I hope everyone found this insightful. It was really, I was going back to my days of Vodafone, and very encouraging painting, I must say. This is one part I knew of, but I've never seen. The first time I'm seeing your painting. Wonderful painting. So you have
Thank you.
kept in, with your so much of workload, you have kept your hobbies alive. And not only that, you are proud to display it. An immense quality and an immense thought one should take behind that. Don't forget your hobby. While you earn, you learn. Enjoyment of having your hobby is so important. Thank you, Misha, once again.
Thank
It
you,
was a
Debashish.
wonderful session.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, everyone. All the best.
Thank
Okay,
you,
bye-bye.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.